Have you ever walked through a new construction home that had little pieces of blue tape all over the walls and counters and cabinets and wondered, what in the Smurfville is going on here? Well, I'm going to explain. Hi, I'm Beth Herbster, a local real estate agent right here in upstate South Carolina. I make these videos to educate people who are considering moving here, as well as general real estate education. And I would love to be your guide throughout the entire process. So be sure to like and subscribe so that you can stay up to date on more content about upstate South Carolina. Let's get into it. Today we're talking about the repair request process with the purchase of a new construction home and how it differs from the purchase of a resale home. Whether you as the buyer choose to work with a builder and go the route of new construction, or you decide resale is the way to go, it's always a good idea to work with a buyer's agent to have representation and to help navigate the second most stressful part of buying a home, which is negotiating the repairs. With resale, before we get to the actual negotiating of the repair request, there are a few terms set when making the initial offer. One being how long the time is to get inspections completed, along with a deadline that the buyer and seller have to agree on what is being repaired. If both parties can't agree on repair terms and the buyer decides to walk away due to the repair issues or the seller not cooperating, the buyer and seller have to agree on a dollar amount that will be paid by the buyers to the sellers for walking away. This time period is called due diligence, and the money is the due diligence termination fee. This fee is only paid if the buyer decides to walk away. This is also separate from earnest money, which we cover in another video. Every state is different regarding the due diligence process and the termination fee, so keep that in mind if you're relocating from another state. Once we get the offer accepted for a resale home, the clock starts on the due diligence deadline, so time is of the essence. Now, with new construction, the timing of the repairs is reliant on the building schedule, how far along construction is at the time of the offer, and when the home will be about 98% complete, because you can't inspect what isn't there or isn't built yet. The first step in the repair process, despite which route you go, and I always recommend to my clients, is to get a full initial home inspection. With new construction, the builder is required to pass certain phases and inspections with the city and county requirements. These depend, of course, on said cities and counties. I also recommend a pre-drywall inspection if possible with new construction, because once the drywall is delivered and installed, you can't see what you can't see. Just because the builder passes those building codes doesn't mean it's 100% correct or something wasn't missed. With resale homes, sellers are required to fill out a residential property condition disclosure statement. Unless the home is being sold by a trust or an estate or an investor, in which case the seller has never lived in the home and has no knowledge of the condition of the home. With resale, the seller's disclosure is only as good as the person that fills it out. I like to think that people won't intentionally be misleading on this form, and they might not have ever crawled up in the crawl space to know if there are any issues. I always say, trust but verify. And this is why we get an initial home inspection completed by a licensed company. You as the buyer can choose the home inspection company, and I can provide a list of all the inspection options available. I'm also happy to recommend reputable inspection companies that my previous clients have used and been happy with the results and services. This is a cost the buyer is responsible for, and inspection costs vary, but a basic home inspection, depending on the square footage of the home, can run anywhere from $300 to $450. Any additional inspections can be scheduled, and additional costs might be associated, again at the buyer's expense. I go into more detail on what additional inspections can or should be done in my buyer's consultation with my clients. The other inspection that I highly recommend with resale homes is a termite inspection, or what the industry refers to as a CL100. This is completed by a licensed pest company, and they not only check for termites, but other wood-boring and destroying insects or organisms. They also check for moisture if the home has a crawl space. This technically is a separate contingency outside other repairs requested, but many inspections companies offer the service to be completed at the same time as the home inspection. Veteran loans and state housing loans or programs actually require a clear report to satisfy the loan terms prior to closing. For new construction homes, there usually isn't a need for a CL100 inspection because builders usually offer a 99A, which is a report showing the home has been treated for termites and the builder then offers a 1-year termite bond. After that first year, the homeowner can renew the bond at a cost, but if that bond lapses or you want to sign up with a new company, that could cost you around $500. Now, for the main event and what to expect with the home inspection. I always prep my clients in our buyer's consultations. Be ready because the inspection report is going to be 68 pages of information. Even with new construction, there will be 68 pages. The inspectors check every light switch, outlet, the attic, the crawl space, the roof with drone images, plumbing, and many other things. They will not remove the seller's personal belongings, so if something isn't accessible, they'll note that in the report. As a buyer's agent, I make note of obstruction areas when we view the home at the initial showing and work with the listing agent to ensure the sellers have the areas cleared prior to the inspection appointment, if possible. When we get the report back from the inspection company, I have my buyers review it and list what items are important to them. I also make a list of suggested items that need to be addressed or considered. Then we go through the whole report together. Or, pending the client's preferences, we hit the high points. The majority of contracts fall out due to repairs. The seller can say yes or no to anything the buyer asks for. Pending the seller's response, the buyer gets to decide how they move forward. In the last 4 years, and out of over 100 transactions I've had, maybe 3 fall out because of repairs. Usually I can negotiate with the listing agent a win-win for both sides. The key thing to remember is that everything is negotiable, so it's important to have an agent on your side who is strategic at negotiating what to ask for and how repairs are completed. Again, this is something I review with my buyers in more detail during the buyer's consultation and at the time of negotiating repairs. New construction repair requests are handled a little differently, and here's how. If the buyer decides on a pre-drywall inspection, we get that scheduled before the pre-drywall walkthrough. Once we get the report back, I send it directly to the general contractor of the neighborhood so that they already are aware of the issues and concerns. The general contractor will then address them during the walkthrough. It is crucial that your agent works with the builder's team or on-site agent to schedule this accordingly, because there's usually a very tight window from when the electrical and plumbing are completed to when the drywall is delivered and installed. Then once the drywall goes up and the house is about 98% completed, the inspection company will go back out and inspect the finishes. Again, this inspection is done prior to a pre-scheduled blue tape walkthrough, although some builders call this the new orientation walkthrough. The inspection report will be sent to the general contractor prior, and when we walk through the home, those issues will be addressed. The builders may not fix everything, but they usually agree to fix the majority, if not all items, within reason. During the new home orientation, the general contractor will give the buyer, and sometimes the buyer's agent, a roll of blue tape. This is so if there are any paint scuffs or sloppy caulking or sloppy finishes, a little piece of blue tape can be stuck to the spot for the painters or the cleanup crew to come back and fix or touch up. A tip when doing this walkthrough, and I suggest to all of my clients, is to sit on all of the toilets and look around from that viewpoint. I know it seems silly, but trust me, after you move in, and if you didn't do this, you are going to see things that you might have missed initially. Any major issues outstanding will be put on a punch list to be signed off on and repaired, usually prior to closing. Some builders do a final walkthrough and some rely on the signed punch list. Be sure you clarify with the builder you choose what the expectations are for the walkthroughs. So, what do you think? Based on the repair request process, are you a person that would lean towards new construction or a resale home? If you have any additional questions about new construction homes, resale homes, the repair process, feel free to comment below or contact me directly. If you found value in this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Whether you're looking to move now or later, I hope this channel can be your guide to the upstate. See you in the next video.